All righty. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ryan here alongside Caleb. We are Michigan Storm Chasers, and we have a bit of a interesting development to talk about tonight. This would usually be our podcast night, but instead we are covering severe weather chances for tomorrow. So with that being said, I want to first start off by saying thank you for joining us. Shout out to our sponsor, as always, Cat's Roofing and Siding, based out of Lansing, Belfry metro areas to do roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. Give them a call, 517-485-9886. Number is now on your screen. If you want to write that down or take a screenshot, feel free to. If you do happen to need some home improvement stuff done, feel free to tell them MSC sent you. They'll appreciate that, as would we. Now, jumping into our first topic tonight, I want to first start off by saying that sunset was amazing. In fact, we posted an alert like we usually do when sunsets are pretty good here. Your guys' comments here from Kristen here and Celine. You got Jeannie here in Jackson County. You got Rochester Hills. Like, you guys killed it tonight with the sunset pictures. So shout out to you guys. And that was a pretty good sunset, that's for sure. Better than the ones that we've had. So I just want to start the video by saying shout out to you guys. That was an amazing sunset. And thanks for sharing your pictures with us. We appreciate that as always. Now, the topic of discussion tonight is the storm/severe chances for tomorrow, but also the Halloween forecast. We're going to dive into hour by hour with you guys, as well as give you our opinions and our thoughts on the potential for some strong, perhaps severe storms tomorrow. Starting first with the SPC outlook, we have a marginal risk just butting into the south central part of Michigan there. So Hillsdale, Lenawee, Branch, St. Joseph, and Cass counties, up toward Jackson County as well. That is the entirety of the severe risk. It extends south. If you were paying attention yesterday, this risk did get shifted further north up toward Mount Pleasant, but the latest update did shift it further south. The general thunderstorm risk in light green extends all the way up toward Alpena and Roscommon, Grand Rapids, Tri-City Saginaw area, Fort Austin, Fort Huron, all included in a general thunderstorm risk. There is a risk only for damaging winds, nothing else. So now we covered that. We'll show you guys what we're thinking here a little bit later on, but first go ahead and dive into the model run here. So looking at the temperature forecast for overnight tonight into tomorrow, here is your current conditions. Back this up right about here. This is your current conditions in terms of temperatures across the state. As you can see, the UP in the 40s. If you're in the lower peninsula, though, you're in the mid-70s, low to mid-70s there. So a pretty big temperature difference of about 30 or so degrees. Pretty uncommon, but it's not rare. It happens a lot, but just a big difference of temperatures there. But this is tonight. Moving into the overnight hours, though, we're going to cool off just a bit. The UP stays cold. Us here in the lower Michigan are going to remain in the 60s, perhaps upper 50s for low temperatures. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have a cold front work through from west to east, and that's going to drop our temperatures. But before it does, it will spark rain and perhaps some storm chances. This is tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're noticing temperatures up in the UP, 30s and 40s. Notice the western UP closer to the 30-degree mark there. You could see some snow up there. I'll talk about that here in a second as well. But looking at the lower peninsula, we're looking at pretty decent temperatures as we head into the afternoon hours. Moving us forward toward the evening hours, here comes your cold air. You can kind of see a couple areas in Michigan that have a little bit of a temperature difference there. That's going to be the case. And then as we get toward trick-or-treating, towards 6 o'clock, here comes the cold temperatures. Here's 5, and then here's 6 o'clock. The state is practically divided up and down, north-south in half. The east half of the state in the 60s, the west half in the low 50s, perhaps upper 40s in spots. That's at 6 p.m. That's when most of the trick-or-treating happens. So the Halloween forecast depends on where you're at in the state. Warm on the east side, colder in the western half. This is 6 p.m. Here's 7 p.m. Here's 8 p.m. And by about 9 or so, we're looking at 50s for the statewide, and then back into the 40s and perhaps 30s further north for the overnight hours. So with that being said, we have a couple of concerns for tonight, or not for tonight, but for tomorrow. We're looking at some concerns for some gusty winds with some showers and perhaps some storms. So translating this over here to our forecast future model, this is your forecasted radar for overnight tonight into tomorrow. Back this up here. It's going to take hour by hour. So right now, in fact, go ahead and pull this up. This is your current radar. We're looking at some showers and storms up in the northern half of lower Michigan, as well as portions of the UP, although the UP right now is pretty much dry in terms of, I mean, there's a few showers up there, but overall it's pretty much dry for the most part. Down here, we have some showers and storms working their way east, a bit north with that. So if you're up in northern lower Michigan, don't be shocked. You get a brief downpour, rumble of thunder, maybe some small hail at most. No severe weather is expected with this first round overnight tonight, or right now, so to speak. So coming back over here to the future model, this is what the radar should look like right about now. And it kind of does, kind of doesn't. Models do an okay job, but for the most part, they have a pretty good handle on tomorrow. This is overnight tonight, 11 o'clock. We're seeing a bigger band of rain move in from west to east. That's going to work into the UP, northern lower Michigan. This is 2 in the morning. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6. About 5 or 6 in the morning, we're having showers work from west to east, starting about Grand Rapids up toward Traverse City, down to South Haven there. Moving west to east there as the morning goes towards sunrise. Here's 7 o'clock in the morning. Could be a rainy bus stop for you guys, so keep that in mind. Move toward 8 p.m. Or 8 a.m., should I say, 9 a.m. We're starting to clear out in the state, and that may allow us to build just a smidge of instability between these rounds of storms. But keep an eye on that very closely because that's going to matter. We'll explain that a bit further on later. But overall, moving to the afternoon time frame, this is your concern for anything gusty. This particular line right here, that's close to the cold front of what's going to be swinging through there through the afternoon and evening hours. Now, the cold front is quite strong. The low pressure system that's associated with is quite potent, and that's going to cause a pretty good pressure difference, or not pressure difference, but a temperature difference. That's also going to drive some forcing to get some storms up and going, but also gusty winds as well. Looking at the future forecast, the model here does split the line north and south. This is going to be our one to watch here. Doesn't look like much on radar, but don't be fooled. These low-topped showers and storms with these systems in fall can really pack a punch in terms of wind gusts. That is our concern for tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's one model. The other model is a bit more aggressive in terms of how it looks. We'll go ahead and pull that up. This is the MAM 3. If I can get this to load. There we go. Different model here. This is, again, about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. There are your showers and storms working through the state west to east during the mid-afternoon hours from about 2 or so p.m. at the earliest to about 7 p.m. at the latest. That should clear the state and allow us to be dry for the most part in the lower peninsula for trick-or-treating after 6 or 7 p.m. So that is your forecast overall for Halloween. I would, however, advise bringing a coat, especially if you live in the west half of Michigan. It's going to be windy tomorrow. In fact, wind gusts could top 40 miles per hour at trick-or-treating time. Here's your wind gust map here at 6 p.m. Back to 7. Bam, there it is. Those are your peak wind gusts. We're getting into the upper 30s, low 40s, even 50s on the east side of Michigan, likely with those showers and storms working through, which is what we're kind of concerned for those strong to severe wind gusts tomorrow. On the east side there, we're getting close to 50, 55 there up toward the Flint area. But overall, the takeaway from this, looking at this map here, is it's going to be windy tomorrow. So expect us to have wind advisories, perhaps. Scattered power outages could be possible across much of the lower peninsula. Overall, it's going to be windy. Plan accordingly. Make sure if you're having costumes on for trick-or-treating, make sure it's not going to blow in the wind because it will be windy. And you will probably have some issues with your costumes if they're prone to blowing around. So overall, that's your forecast for Halloween. Now, in terms of our severe thoughts, we have some graphics to share with you guys. Our first one will be this one. This is an overall timing map as well as hazard map as well. The entire area from about Rogers City to Gaylord to Cadillac down toward Ludington and south. You guys do have a shot for some gusty winds and some showers during the afternoon hours. The main concern that we have is going to be centered in that shaded area from about Mount Pleasant to Bay City, toward Flint, down toward Ann Arbor and Adrian, over toward Kalamazoo, and up again toward the Mount Pleasant area. That central part of Michigan looks to have the best chance for a strong to severe wind gust. Okay, it's not a very high threat. It's just when we're going to watch very closely. Like we said before, these systems like to kind of surprise us with how windy they can be. Tomorrow's no exception. Overall hazards, we are looking pretty much at wind only. We're not seeing anything tornadic or hail-wise. If we had more instability, we could see a brief tornado develop. Although right now that's highly unlikely given how much rain we're going to have in the morning hours. We're not going to build too much instability to get anything to happen tornadic-wise. So overall, just an isolated wind type of situation. Nothing more, nothing less. And then last but not least, your overall temperature forecast is right about here. The cold front approximate timing, we're a little bit adjusting as needed, but overall it should be pretty much similar. East half of the state will be warmer. West half of the state will be colder at around the 6 p.m. time frame, so plan accordingly. Doesn't matter where you are in Michigan, though, it will be windy tomorrow. Even if you're in the 40s or 50s or 70s, it will be windy regardless, so plan accordingly. With that being said, that's everything I have to cover. So if you guys got questions, feel free to pop those in chat. One more graphic trash can meter. We're kind of testing out some new graphics today. This one did pretty well, kind of humorous as well. Where's my trash can at the level 5 there? But overall, make sure you're securing loose objects tomorrow. It's going to be windy across the entire state, so just plan accordingly, whether it's with costumes, loose objects, or whatever. Just plan for that. Okay. Let's go ahead and pop out the comments here. I have 96 comments that I missed. I have not had the comments open, so I apologize. Go ahead and pop that out here.
Yeah, quite a few of you guys joining us tonight. We got Katie. We have, looks like Cindy, Fordo, Robert, Kim. Thanks for joining us. Crystal's in here as well. Becky's in here. Madison. Got a lot of you guys in here. Thank you for joining us here. And again, if you guys have any questions, don't be shy about putting those in there. We will try to get those answered for you here this evening. I know there's a lot of questions out there leading up to Halloween, so feel free to put those in there if you have any concerns or questions.
Yeah, I see a question already. Can we replay the forecasted radar? We can do that one more time for you guys who are just joining in for us. So for tomorrow, it's going to be rainy pretty much all day tomorrow for the most part, or somewhere in the state, should I say, not the entire state. But starting off at sunrise, we're having rain overnight tonight in the UP, northern Michigan, western Michigan. By sunrise, there's your rain. Here's 8 a.m. in the morning. Go ahead and take this hour by hour with the model. This is 9 a.m. There's 9 a.m. Here's 10. Here's 11. Here's noon. Here's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And these storms right here are the ones we're going to be keeping an eye on around the 2 p.m. time frame in West Michigan. They'll move eastward. They should be on the east side of the state by about 5 or 6 p.m. or so. And then continuing onward, here's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and then clearing the state by 8 p.m. Notice up here in the UP, though, I want to show you guys something. If I can pull this up. Let's see. Do I have
You went over it.
I don't have a preset. Oh, there it is. There you go. Up in the western UP, we did not mention this, but it will snow in the western UP. In fact, there could be some accumulations up there. Could be our first eventful snowfall for us here in Michigan. 1 to 3 is the accumulation expectation for the western half of the UP. Not the western half, but the far western corner of the UP. And as you get further in toward the central part, it will drop off, probably do a dusting. But 1 to 3, maybe 4 inches in spots, definitely possibility up there. As that moisture does wrap around the backside of this low pressure system, that will give us some snow to talk about up in the UP. So I'll mention that as well for our UPer friends up north. And all of our forecasts are posted on our page as well, from our snowfall to severe weather. Everything's posted on our page. Just scroll back on the timeline. You can find it. We have detailed information written out for you guys. So if you are just joining us, you want to split and take a look at that instead, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, and one other thing to note here on the snowfall is it's not all going to accumulate on the ground or the roadways. Keep in mind, the UP has been in the 60s, 70s, and even some 80s in there for the last couple of days. Mm-hmm. That has allowed ground temperatures to warm up significantly compared to what they were at a few weeks ago. This will help slow down the accumulation process a little bit. However, we are still thinking that the snowfall rate is going to be heavy enough combined with that cold air near the surface that some minor accumulations will occur. Roadways, I think roadways are going to be pretty good for the most part for the duration of this event. And this is going to be a short-lived event too. Snowfall looks to transition from rain to snow right around the 6 p.m., right around dinner time. And then most of the snow looks to be out of the area by close to midnight, despite a few lake effect showers lingering through about 2 or 3 a.m. But a pretty short-lived event. It's going to be some light to moderate rain and then a quick change over to wet, heavy snow before everything's all said and done. So not a real long-lived event, just a quick burst of heavy snow as this system moves across and moves on out. But during that time frame of snow, snowfall rates could be moderate to heavy at times, and that of which is where our accumulations come from. It'll likely accumulate on grassy surfaces, trees, roofs, and watch your overpasses and bridges, your suspended surfaces. Those tend to cool a lot faster than your average roadway. So keep an eye on those, but nothing too major expected for the UP tomorrow.
So overall, the SPC currently has the severe risk down further south toward the bottom of Michigan, so I-94 corridor basically. We're thinking that there's going to be a chance, just because the atmosphere is the same north to south across much of the state, if we get enough instability to work in, we could see some gusty, perhaps severe wind gusts across much of lower Michigan or south central lower Michigan. Here's our thinking. The center part of the state has the best potential, but overall, the difference between our outlook and SPC, of course, they're the official outlook. We're just giving our thoughts based on what we see. Okay,
and the reason for that is there's a lot of strong wind aloft, and a lot of times along the cold fronts, when you get showers or storms developing, that rain can actually help pull that stronger wind aloft down closer to the ground. And that can, in turn, give us some gusty winds along the cold front. So that's why we think there's a chance for gusty winds a little bit further north than what the SPC has highlighted, just given the fact that there's a lot of strong wind aloft, not very high off the ground either, just a couple thousand feet up. It's pretty windy up there, and that cold front can help bring some of that wind down to the ground. So if you guys are trick-or-treating tomorrow, hold on to your candy baskets, as they can. These winds can blow them down the streets. So be wary of if you guys are out tomorrow night. So overall, not looking like a bad evening for trick-or-treating. Just be weather aware, dress accordingly, plan on scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or so. And plan on gusty winds. I think the wind is going to be the bigger story tomorrow for trick-or-treating than anything, just because of those wind gusts. Could be quite strong at times. So hold on to those candy baskets.
Yes, of
the
course.
advisories issues Travis asked. We're right there at wind advisory criteria. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more wind advisories issued tomorrow. We'll have to see what the latest guidance shows overnight here, and ultimately what the National Weather Service decides on. But I would not be surprised to see some wind advisories get expanded across, especially central Michigan tomorrow. So we'll just have to see what they decide to do there.
And yes, we'll be live tomorrow, probably for a briefing, for an update, and also if anything goes severe, Caleb and I will be here.
Yep.
Joel will be here as well. So we got you guys covered. What's up, Chris? Good to see you in here. There's a question in here about Election Day in terms of the weather for Election Day. We'll have a forecast out for you guys on Election Day in the coming days. It's still too early to get a good feel. But there is a storm system we're watching. It could be a similar one to this one. We could be looking at some stronger winds. So we'll keep an eye on that. If anything needs updating, we'll keep you guys updated. But right now, being about a week away, we're just not going to get specific with that just yet. But we will have a forecast out when we have some confidence for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, Joel's been cranking away at college there, so he's been off stream, working behind the scenes on some surprising stuff coming. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, he's cranking away at his college. He'll be back here in the new year, or I think mid to late December, perhaps. So
yep,
another month or so without Joel. You guys can make it. All right. Any other questions, guys? What's up, Lane? I see you about 5 minutes ago checking in. Good to see you in here if you're still watching. Well, hey, guys, it could be worse. Last year in Halloween, Grand Rapids area got about a foot of snow. So it could be much, much worse than, 50s or 50s to 70s and perhaps a few showers or storms. I'll take this over a foot of snow on Halloween. That's just me, though.
How will this rain affect the drought? Asked Summer. It'll definitely help. Will it rid of it? Absolutely not. We're just so far in a deficit as far as rainfall goes. It'll take a few more of these systems to really put a dent in it. However, anything is appreciative at this point in time. Let's be real with that.
Yeah.
It'll take several more inches to help us out there and help rid us of that drought. However, over the next 1 to 2 weeks, we are favored above average in precipitation. So that is a big win as far as drought comeback. Ryan has the future rainfall through, looks like Friday evening there. So some places could see a couple inches of rain by the time this is all said and done, especially across the UP. The heaviest rain will be associated with that low pressure center Right now, currently, it is off to our south and west. Overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow, it'll move up towards the area. It'll track through Wisconsin and then through northern lower Michigan and the UP of Michigan. And that'll help bring some more moisture up as well. So a couple inches of rain up there. And that's where the worst of the drought is in Michigan right now, is right where that heavier swath of rain looks to go. So that is a blessing for those folks up there. And we are watching a couple more systems too. There's another one coming in here for the weekend and the beginning of next week as we approach election day too. So we have more chances for rain. So that should help mitigate the drought conditions to some extent. But will it eliminate them? I don't think it'll quite rid of them yet, but it's definitely going to make an improvement for sure.
60 miles per hour is severe criteria. Actually, it's 58. It's 58 miles per hour. That's a common misunderstanding. A lot of the warnings we get in Michigan start at 60, but the actual criteria for severe is 58 miles per hour.
Yeah, they often round up with that.
Nicole asks start time. So start time, it depends on where you're at in Michigan. It's gonna rain in portions of Michigan pretty much from now until tomorrow night. It's just a matter of where you're at. So if you're looking at the strongest potential of storms tomorrow, the map that we have also has timing on it. If you guys didn't catch that, I'll bring it back up. So from west to east, about 2 p.m. over in West Michigan, the center part 2 to 6 p.m. and the eastern part 5 to 7. That's your rough time frame for overall passage of what would be or could be some stronger type of storms with wind gusts. So that'll clear the state by about 7 or 8 p.m. But overall, going back to the radar, potential for the future radar, should I say, I can pull that back up. Let's see. Yeah, I lost it. There it is. So potential radar, here we go. So tonight we're having some showers and storms up in the northern part of Michigan. As the night goes on toward morning, it'll move into West Michigan about 6 or so in the morning. It'll push eastward while the UP still has rain. And then that will continue eastward, reaching the east side of Michigan by about noon. And then a secondary line, you could say, forms behind that. And that's going to be the one that we're keeping an eye on for anything stronger.
Yeah, but long story short, chance of rain and thunderstorms pretty much all day tomorrow. But a lot of the rain will be out of the state, or at least out of the lower peninsula, by about 8 p.m. tomorrow night. So a few scattered showers during trick-or-treating. We'll just have to watch the showers along that cold front, really between that 3 p.m. through 7 p.m. time frame as that tracks from west to east across the state. That could bring some gustier winds down to the surface. We'll just have to keep a close eye on that. So if you guys are out trick-or-treating when that cold front moves through, keep an eye on it. Hold on to your candy baskets, and might not hurt to wear a jacket or some warmer clothes as well, as temperatures will be dropping behind that front. A lot of folks on the eastern side of that front. There we go. You guys can see me now. A lot of you guys on the eastern side of that front will be quite warm tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to start out pretty warm. A lot of folks, even tonight, are only going to get down to the upper 50s, low 60s tonight as lows. So some record high lows tonight for the LP of Michigan, which is crazy because that's warmer than our average highs this time of year. So there's just some perspective on how warm we've been at night. Starting out the day tomorrow, a lot of guys will be, a lot of places will be in the low 60s, mid upper 70s even possible tomorrow, especially across the eastern half of the state. And that's ahead of the cold front. As that cold front moves through, you'll notice a rapid decline in temperatures. Temperatures will fall into the low 50s, maybe even some 40s there behind the cold front as it passes. So do dress accordingly for that. Although when you walk out the door, it may feel warm and pleasant, but just know that cold front is approaching you from the west, and it will cool down afterwards. So do plan accordingly for that. And also plan for the wind. That's going to be the biggest story tomorrow overall, is our wind. As this low pressure system moves up, that'll help mix some wind down closer to the surface, so we can expect sustained winds anywhere between 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained, gusting easily over 35 miles per hour tomorrow, especially during the afternoon hours. And that includes during trick-or-treating. So as you guys are out and about, hold on to your baskets. Might not hurt to wear a jacket or a sweatshirt just because of those windy conditions. So do keep that in mind if you guys are out trick-or-treating tomorrow night.
I had a question here in chat asking when the winds are going to die down. The answer to that is overnight, Thursday into Friday morning. We're looking at the wind. This is 3 in the morning here. The worst of it is out of the state, and the east half of the state is still having some gusts up to 30. And as we get toward morning hours on Friday, it'll be dying down there. And as you can see, come about noon on Friday, we're out of the wind. So,
yep. Yep, that's the good news about this system. It's a quick hitter. It's going to move into its thing and move on out fairly quickly. So that is some good news there.
All right, any other questions, guys? Ashley says, be cheating with an electric blanket behind me while I hand out candy. It's going to be one of those nights, especially on the west side of Michigan or northern Michigan. You're going to be in the colder side of things. So
for sure.
And yes, I would expect a wind advisory, honestly. These winds are going to be, I mean, we're like Caleb said, we're kind of borderline criteria for it. So it could go either way, but either way, advisory or not, it's going to be windy tomorrow. So plan accordingly.
Yeah, plan on wind gusts, gusting over 35 to 45 miles per hour at time. So just plan on that occurring. Confidence is pretty high in that. So even if you guys aren't in a wind advisory tomorrow, plan on sustained winds of at least 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting to 45 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon.
Winds are going to pick up about overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. You're going to wake up. You're going to notice there's a big difference of the wind there. So it'll start roughly tomorrow morning when you wake up, and then it'll be probably like an all-day event. It's called an all-day event.
Yeah,
from morning to dusk.
I think your strongest wind gusts though kind of be mid-afternoon, early evening time frame for your strongest winds before they start to mitigate there a little bit there behind the front. So
I'd say 4 to 8 p.m.
Yeah. Yep.
Prayers to all the parents who will have to try and get their kids to wear jackets with their costumes and having to deal with the wind with their costumes. So, yeah, that's going to be, honestly, guys, I know a lot of you guys are going to probably be out trick-or-treating tomorrow. If you guys got pictures or videos of your kids trying to fight the wind, you can send those to us. We'd love to see those. Let's see you guys having fun. And, yeah, feel free to send those in to us if you would like to do that. That's completely fine. We're going to do a costume contest tomorrow as well, so keep an eye out for that. We'll give away some MSC merch. So,
yeah, temperatures, Don, will start to drop throughout the day tomorrow. Ryan, if you want to go back to that, go back to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah, give me one second.
On the HRRR. So really for the UP is not going to get any warmer. They're going to stay in the 40s to start out the day tonight, or through the night tonight into the day tomorrow. That cold front will sag south, and then it'll kind of stall out a little bit across the eastern UP, and that is as a result of our low pressure system moving up into the region. Temperatures will continue to warm across the lower peninsula through about mid-afternoon. That cold front starts to move through midday, probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when that cold front starts to move through, maybe a little bit earlier. But really 3 o'clock onward is when we can start to see that cold front progress from west to east. And as it does so, that'll bring your cooler temperatures going from 60 degrees to 50s and 40s. And then it'll be all the way across the state by 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So pretty fast moving cold front, but temperatures will drop very steadily behind the front as well. So like I said, do dress accordingly if you guys are out tomorrow, just because that cold front is working its way across the state. So,
yes, it is raining in portions of Michigan. This is a live radar look up there in northern lower. We got a big band of looks to be showers. I don't see any lightning with it now. There was one earlier over here by Traverse City, but right now does not appear to be anything worth noting in terms of wind either. Just to show you guys the wind velocity, not really seeing much of anything strong right now. So
yeah, and these are expected to be sub-severe tonight. We aren't expecting any severe weather this evening. At best, maybe some pea-sized hail in a stronger storm. I can't rule that out entirely, but no severe weather is expected. Just some heavy downpours, perhaps a rumble of thunder or two, and at best, some pea-sized hail in those stronger cores if those updrafts do become strong enough. But I don't expect anything more than that. So bottom line is just some much needed rainfall. So we'll take it. Are the winds going to be out of the southwest tomorrow? To start out the day, they will be, but they're also going to shift a little bit more out of the west, and then they'll be out of the northwest tomorrow night after that front moves through. So they're going to start out of the southwest before shifting out of the west, and then ultimately tomorrow night they'll be more out of the west-northwest after that cold front moves through. So that's kind of where that'll happen at. Some are asked, will there be any power outages tomorrow? I don't see any widespread power outages, but as always, when you get these wind events where you have these sporadic wind gusts of 45, 50 miles per hour, you can always expect some isolated power outages just from loose limbs being blown on power lines, etc. But widespread power outages, I don't think anything will be too widespread, but a sporadic incident of a tree on a power line can't be ruled out. So. And then here is your SPC outlook for tomorrow. Yesterday at this time frame, that marginal risk did extend all the way to Mount Pleasant. The SPC, or the Storm Prediction Center, this morning trimmed that back closer to Hillsdale County, reaching up to Jackson County there a little bit, pretty much right at the nose of that marginal risk. Not quite to Ann Arbor or Lansing, but here at MSC, we do expect that threat to protrude a little bit further north, and here's why. As that cold front sinks south, it's going to interact with a lot of strong winds here aloft. There's a lot of really strong winds just a few thousand feet off the ground. And as a line of showers develops along that cold front, that'll help mix down or bring down some of that stronger wind aloft. So even though the marginal risk stops in Jackson County, we do think there's a chance for a strong wind gust or two all the way up towards Mount Pleasant, Bay City, Saginaw, through about the 2 to 6 p.m. time frame. Do we think it's going to be a widespread severe weather event? We do not. But just know that risk is there for a strong wind gust or two right along the cold front as that sags southeast tomorrow afternoon through the evening. So that is kind of your day-by-day play for tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll try to answer some more here. We have a few minutes yet before we need to hop off, so feel free to put them in there. And thanks for joining us. It's always fun to hang out, and we hope everybody has a fun and safe Halloween tomorrow night, and we'll continue to update our Halloween forecast tomorrow as well. And we hope to see some pictures too. We want to see what everyone's dressing up as, and hope everybody has a good time. Is there going to be any thunder? Yeah, there'll be some. I mean, a lot of these showers tomorrow are not going to be very tall. A lot of times you need some taller convection to get that charge separation for lightning to form. You need a lot of turbulence and a lot of higher, taller convection. And a lot of these clouds are going to be really shallow, and we're not really going to get the robust updrafts that we need for lightning to occur. So I don't think there'll be a lot of lightning, but a rumble of thunder or two can't be ruled out tomorrow as that cold front moves through. But I don't think lightning will be a big issue tomorrow at all.
I want to highlight this comment here because I'm laughing inside about this. But if you want to be spooky, Cyndaquil says that. Dressing up as a tax form. Love it. Love it. Kudos. That made me laugh. Love it. Following up, gotta go for truly scary stuff. I love it.
That's pretty scary. All right. Any other questions you guys have here? This can be in regards to Halloween, the snow, the general forecast, or if you have a question that's not related to the forecast, feel free to put that in there too. We'll be happy to answer it here for you guys. Again, this is taking in the place of what would normally be our Wednesday Night Live podcast on YouTube. Given the risk for severe weather or strong weather tomorrow and an active day as a whole, we decided to do this instead. So Again, thank you guys for joining us. It's always fun to hang out and have a good time. So if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to put them in, or comments. Put some comments in there too. Let us know you're here having a good time and what's on your mind. So
we might,
night, Jamie. After that cold front goes through, a lot of the lower peninsula will be dry for the remainder of the night. It will be cooling off into the low to mid 40s for a lot of the state. There'll be some 30s mixing in across the northern lower peninsula as well. The UP will be getting down in the 20s across the western UP over by the Porcupines, Ontonagon, places like over there, Keweenaw Peninsula. You could see some upper 20s with that snowfall as well. But most of the state will be cooler from the mid 30s to the low 40s tomorrow night, and dry with the exception of the UP. But a lot of the precipitation in the UP will move out of the region by midnight. So at midnight onward, we're looking pretty dry across the state as a whole. So
I'm going to say before Caleb answer your question there, we are going to probably end up doing a podcast that's pre-recorded. We might end up uploading it between now and the end of the week. So if you guys would like the content, you guys can give you that content. We'll have to pre-record it, though, because our schedules kind of don't align for the end of the week here. So.
Yep. I see a couple questions in here about tornadoes. Right now, we do not see tornadoes being an issue. And that's because we don't really have the instability that we need for tornadoes to develop. We just don't have it. We have to have a lot of more ingredients come together for tornadic development. And tomorrow, we just don't have that. Now, if more instability were to build, then we might see a low-end tornado threat. But right now, we don't see that at all. If something were to change, we'll update you guys and let you know. But right now, the risk is mainly just for strong wind gusts. We don't see a tornado risk at all. So shouldn't have to worry about tornadoes tomorrow.
We're going to hold off on the rainfall amounts for the weekend system until we get closer to it.
Yep. But it does look to have a decent shot of some widespread rain throughout the state. As we get closer, we'll be able to dial in on those amounts as to where and how much. But yeah, we are trending above average in precipitation over the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that is great news for the drought across the state. So that should help mitigate that a little bit and hopefully make a dent in it a little bit too. So that's what we want to see.
All right, go ahead and briefly recap everything here. We're going to hop off, see some questions about timing and such. So breaking it down little by little, SPC has a level 1 out of scale of 5, so a low risk for severe weather in the dark green areas. Lenawee, Hillsdale, Branch, St. Joseph, and Cass County, as well as Jackson County, included in that marginal risk. Further north in the light green area is general thunderstorms. So no severe expected further north, but we kind of have differing opinions. We'll get to that here in a second. That's your SPC outlook. Looking at the overall expectation, we do have rain in the state right now as we speak. Live radar. We have some showers up in northern Michigan. Nothing tonight is expected to be severe. Just some rain, a rumble of thunder, maybe some small hail at best. Looking at the future forecast in terms of your radar, looking at the NAM3 model, looking at the future forecast here, this is tonight. Rain increases in the UP and also northern lower Michigan. It does increase in West Michigan closer to that 6 a.m. time frame. And as we get closer to that 9-10 a.m. time frame, eastern Michigan will we'll get in on some action in terms of rain. And then the UP starts raining again. And this is the line we're going to keep an eye on back here, right around 2 p.m. or so, give or take an hour or two. That's going to be our focus for a strong to severe storm mid-afternoon, as early as 2 p.m. and as late as 7 p.m. We have a forecast out here. Overlay that here real quick. Here's kind of our thoughts in terms of where the best potential for a strong to severe wind gust will be. The dotted outline suggests gusty showers are possible anywhere in that dotted outline, but the best chance is centered in the shaded area across central lower Michigan, from Mount Pleasant to the Tri-Cities to Flint to Ann Arbor, over toward Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, those particular areas in the central part of the state. That's our thinking. It's kind of different than the SPCs, but again, this is what we're seeing versus what they're seeing. We'll see what happens. These fall systems do tend to be pretty gusty in nature. But regardless of showers or storms that could be gusty, the overall wind tomorrow will still be a factor. We had gusts up to 45 miles per hour possible, sustaining wind right around 15 to 25 miles per hour across much of the state. And that does include trick-or-treating time. We're going to be looking at wind gusts upwards of 40 to 45 at that time. So dress accordingly and dress for the weather. In terms of rain for trick-or-treating, the UP will likely be raining, and the lower peninsula will be dry, minus the exception of far eastern Michigan. We could have some showers still lingering around that 6 to 7 p.m. time frame. But otherwise, if you don't live toward the Detroit area, you should be fine and dry for the Halloween trick-or-treating tomorrow. It's just going to be windy. In terms of temperatures, here's your temperature outlook. The east half of the state will be warmest, upper 60s, low 70s. On the west half of the state, we're going to be looking at upper 40s, low 50s. And if you're in the UP, you're looking at snow. So the western UP will have snow. It'll also be colder up there as well. So if you're in the UP, you're kind of out of luck for tomorrow's trick-or-treating. But overall, that's going to be the expectation. The UP also has a snow risk for tomorrow, the western half. Right around the dinner time, 5, 6 p.m. time frame, expected to change over to snow up there. Accumulations in the lightest blue, about an inch. Go a little bit further west into the medium blue, 1 to 3. And in a very far western half, toward Ontonagon, Hancock, Houghton County there, looking at 2 to 4 inches of accumulation, mainly on elevated surfaces like grassy areas, suspended bridges, stuff like that. If you have any up there, overall, shouldn't be too big of a deal. You guys are used to snow up there, but it is our first impactful chance of snow. So we're going to forecast it. We'll let you guys know if anything changes. Did I miss anything?
All right. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, we can answer a couple of them here before we get out. So feel free to get them in there. Also, thank you guys for joining us again here. It's been a pleasure to go over this outlook with you guys as always, and just hang out and have a good time. So great to be with you. For the remainder of the night, we can expect showers and scattered thunderstorms, especially across the northern half of the state. Moving into overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, we can expect some scattered showers and perhaps a rumble of thunder or two moving across western Michigan, as a lot of that rain and convective activity off to our west, which is currently off in Wisconsin, Iowa. That'll gradually weaken as it approaches Michigan. So we can see some rain remnants from that as it moves into the state overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. Throughout the day tomorrow, scattered showers, perhaps some gusty winds at times with those showers along the cold front. But other than that, should be a pretty quiet night tonight. No severe weather is expected. Perhaps some small hail is still possible across the northern half of the state. Pea-size max with that, but no severe weather is expected. So again, here's a look at Traverse City. Some isolated showers, some embedded thunder in there, not a lot of lightning with this. There were a few lightning strikes off and on sporadically here from Traverse City over by Rogers City, Sheboygan. But really, ultimately, your biggest risk tonight, heavy downpours, is really the only thing that we have to worry about here tonight. So you can see a lot of these are going over the same areas. So some ponding and street clogging could be an issue with any leaves that are on the drains. So do keep that in mind if you guys are out and about from Traverse City to Sheboygan.
With that being said, I think we're good to wrap it up here. It's been about 45 minutes. If you guys happen to just be joining us, I would recommend going back to the first about 12 minutes of the video. It covers everything in depth. So from your timing, expectations for trick-or-treating, severe events or severe threats, feel free to go back, watch the first 12 minutes. You'll get all the info that you need. But in this case, I think the video is done. We'll be live tomorrow for an update if needed, as well as any coverage of severe weather if anything does go severe tomorrow. We'll be on it. With that being said, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.